Mr. Stanton is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to Chair Salazar for her partnership on this important resolution. The U.S. Mexico relationship is one of the world's most economically significant, and improving the trade relationship between the two countries has been a focus of my public service career, first on City Council, then as mayor, and now as a member of the House of Representatives. Mexico has been my home state of Arizona's #1 trading partner for decades. And this past year, Mexico surpassed China as the #1 trading partner for the entire United States. Our two countries exchanged nearly $1 trillion in goods and services last year alone, supporting 5 million American jobs. But as tensions with China increase, Mexico is ripe for nearshoring opportunities, particularly those supporting the semiconductor industry that stand to reshape Mexico's economy. This is the moment where the trade relationship between the United States and Mexico should be growing exponentially. But instead, outgoing Mexican President López Obrador is pushing through constitutional reforms mere days before President-elect Sheinbaum takes office that changes that risk the future of this critical relationship to the detriment of both of our countries. The slate of proposed constitutional reforms will harm the independence of the Mexican judiciary, weaken Mexico's regulatory apparatus, degrade its investment potential in the eyes of the international business community, and undermine the country's ability to fulfill international commitments, including the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement. I find 4 of these proposed reforms especially concerning. First, that would completely eliminate 7 autonomous agencies that oversee Mexico's energy and hydrocarbon industries, telecommunications, social development and education policy, and the enforcement of antitrust and transparency laws. Not only would eliminating these agencies remove essential checks on presidential power, they directly conflict with Mexico's commitments under the USMCA, limiting market access, competition, and state-owned enterprises. The second would give Mexico's state-owned electric utility primacy over any private investment, undermining U.S. and Canadian economic interests and any energy we produce in favor of Mexico's energy companies. This directly conflicts with the USMCA clause that prevents countries from rolling back free market measures. The third would ban genetically modified corn. This conflicts with the USMCA market access requirements and violates sanitation and inspection requirements. Such a ban could also lead to the loss of thousands of U.S. agricultural jobs, as Mexico is one of the U.S. largest agricultural export markets. And finally, the slate of judicial reforms. These changes, which were rushed through the Mexican Congress and became law just on September 15th, transform the Mexican judiciary by mandating that all federal judges, from the local level up to the Supreme Court, be directly elected as soon as next year. They also drastically lower the minimum threshold for the competence of judges. American government and business leaders, the American public, are paying close attention. Electing judges leaves the entire judicial process vulnerable to political influence and donor interests, and critically, this change will create backlogs in settling our trade disputes. Many disagreements must first go through Mexico's domestic court system with its new, possibly inexperienced judges before seeking arbitration under the USMCA. I've heard directly from business leaders, some of who have indicated that this change will threaten future investment in Mexico. At a time when our two nations should be working so closely together to tap into the potential of nearshoring, these reforms erode legal certainty, a risky prospect for business already operating and those considering expanding their operations in Mexico. The decision is ultimately up to the Mexican people and their democratic sovereign government. But the impact of these proposed reforms is far-reaching. As a representative from a border state and as an advocate, a longtime advocate for closer economic ties between the United States and Mexico, I believe it is our duty to work towards solutions that support growth and prosperity for both the Mexican and the American people. So I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this resolution. And again, I want to thank Chair Salazar for her partnership in this important effort. And with that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.